Hello, everybody. It is me, Submachine Gun 94, or just Sub. Sub works fine too. And I'm back. It has been a long time coming, but I finally have a setup to record my Xbox. And boy, did that take a while. Oh, and in case you're hearing it, I do have a fan going in the background, so my most sincere apologies if you hear that. Anyway, the reason why I'm in Space Engineers is because I figured a good way to celebrate my return is to showcase my Hammerhead version 4. I know that the last time I showed off a Hammerhead ship, it was called Hammerhead Remastered, but technically that was version 2. This is version 4. And it's not the final version. I plan on doing another one down the line. But right now I got another project in the works. Goodness, I can't speak for the life of me. So, shall we get started? This is Hammerhead version 4, or V4. So, I keep taking the general Hammerhead ship shape and refining it with every new edition. And there's still some room for improvement. Oh, and if you're at all curious to see me build these ships live, you can check me out on Twitch. Link is in the description if I remember to put it there. If not, editor sub, let the folks know. You got it? Okay, awesome. Okay, so let's begin with the bow. Not really a whole lot to see here, other than the fact that you ram a ship with this, that ship you ram into might get chopped in half. Give or take a few tries. Provided your game doesn't crash. Also, on previous Hammerheads, the airlock typically goes right here. But I moved it to here, and here is why. This is actually a pretty funny story. So, every time I have combat tested the ship, granted, they're not moving, for some odd reason, the weapon impacts that I'm using target players. Therefore, targets me. Anyways, so I would often go inside the ships to hide in them, and I kept getting blown into the airlock. Not fun, actually. Especially considering it's a pretty tight space to squeeze these into. So, as a way to counter that, I put the airlock here. Aren't I smart? Shut up, editor sub. It's big, it's heavy. Oh, that's the thing I forgot to mention. This is all heavy armor. Not a single bit of light armor is on this thing. Yeah, it's a beast. Good luck moving this in vanilla. Now this is my favorite part. The rear thruster package. Look at those massive beauties. So big and so powerful. And my favorite, the butt crack cannon. There's another funny story to this. So, with previous versions of this ship, I kept making the rear ends look like they had some sort of a butt crack. Obviously, I didn't do that here. I actually kept from doing that this time. And I would always put a cannon in somewhere in the quote-unquote butt crack. So, hence the name butt crack cannon. Let's just move on. Now that we're on the underbelly of the ship, perhaps my best underbelly for a Hammerhead ship ever, and I can still improve upon this, naturally. Try to put in as much detail while also trying to keep it pretty smooth relatively throughout the entire underbelly of the ship. with a number of weapons here and there, though I think the top side has more guns. And starts getting narrow towards the front because that's how the bow is made. Now, you might have noticed the absence of a hangar. Temporarily, I have done away with the idea of putting a hangar on a Hammerhead ship just because it's provided too many complications, both exterior and interior. So, yeah, no hangar this time, unfortunately. Got the bridge right there. Pretty much the typical Hammerhead bridge exterior design. More guns. Admittedly, this is a pretty bland top-end exterior design compared to previous Hammerheads, which is part of the reason why I want to redo this ship yet again. So, yeah. Oh, and in case you're curious, this ship is like 160,000 PCU. Yeah, it's pretty large. Oh. So upon entering we got this lovely little airlock interior design, which continues to improve with every ship I build. And here we are, one of the main halls of the Hammerhead's interior, with a number of stairways leading down. However, we're not going to explore this deck quite yet. We're actually going to head to the bottom deck first. Now we're entering the engineering deck. And right here, we have one of two of the engine rooms with 6 hydrogen engines each, just simply for emergency power. In case you were to run out of uranium. Not that you'll ever use this ship in survival mode, given the amount of PCU this ship has. Moving on down, we now have assembly. This was going to be designed a bit differently, but this is what I landed on, and this is what I stuck with. Yeah, we have 4 assemblers. I believe there's also one additional assembler over in the armory, which we will check out later along the tour. But now, let's go take a look at the jump drive. Jump drives. So, 3 Protec jump drives total. That is all the ship is for jump drive capabilities. Alright, continuing on. So, before we head down that way, and this is one of the stairways that leads back up to the main hall. Yeah, plenty of ways to get into engineering, which is one of the issues with the previous Hammerhead. Actually, with all the previous Hammerheads. They were all difficult to navigate. So, I tried to rectify that with this ship quite a bit, and I'd say I did a pretty good job. And here is the sub-reactors. Well, actually, these sub-reactors, just 2 of these is enough to power this ship and all of its functions. Actually, I think even just 1 will do the trick. Yeah, this is another Night Owl mod. Alright, this is the main engineering hall. And right here is the primary reactor, which does not have enough juice to power this whole ship, so it's pretty useless as a main reactor. Still is a very cool room though. And these side areas here have the gyros. Now I am running the 1000% gyro mod in my game because having so many gyros, as I'm sure you experienced Space Engineer players will know, really racks up the PCU amount. And being on console, I can't afford to have such a high PCU cost on my ships. By the way, even with the 1000% gyro mod, only 4 gyros is technically needed for this ship. However, I had preemptively prepped this space for 8. So I decided to put all 8 gyros in regardless and cut the power down by half. that is what I did. And these are the main cargo containers. There's actually a lot more cargo containers hidden beneath the wall, behind the walls, not beneath. Oh, maybe beneath. Got some cargo racks over here. And a recurring theme with my ships, copious amounts of vending machines. There are always vending machines everywhere throughout my ships, no matter what. And at the very end here, we got the cryo chamber. To be honest, I feel like I can still improve on this design. Just yet to figure out how. Alright, let's head back up to the main deck and explore that a bit. Alright, so coming around the corner here, we're now approaching the armory and the firing range just ahead of us. We're gonna check out the armory first, though. So the quartermaster has his own little assembler. There we go. And toilet, because the quartermaster is here for long hours in the day or night, so you gotta have a place to make his deposit. If you guys know what I mean. Little armory locker here, and a little table here. And a little area right here so he can hand people off of some weapons and gear and whatnot. So there was a big empty space just across from the armory that was just empty, and wasn't quite sure what to do with it. So I just put a room together, and it actually turned out really cool. If you guys have any idea what to call this room, please say so down in the comments below. And I'm curious to what you guys would call this space. Alright, now we're gonna check out the firing range. Arguably one of the cooler sections of the ship. Got a wide array of dummies to shoot at. If I can find a weapon to use here. And blast door blocks on the end there. And by the way, almost everything is mirrored, so some things will be identical on the other side. Going up these stairs here, we come up to one of the top airlocks. This leads out to that stair area that I mentioned before. Ta-da! I really like this opening here. It's actually really nice. I love it. Alright, and now we have one of the crew quarters. Very simple design, very small, 2 bunks in each room, and there's about 10 rooms total. So that I believe that is a total crew occupancy of 20. And right here we have the bathroom and shower rooms. I'm not quite sure what to call this. Restroom. We'll just say that as an overall all around term. And yeah, again, it's mirrored onto the other side, and in between them is this locker room here. And now this door down the hall leads directly to the firing range and armory, as mentioned before. And this door right here provides convenient access to the mess hall, which admittedly is a bit big. A bit bigger than it should have been. But you got plenty of seats to accommodate all crew members. I think. I never actually counted. It's a good area to grab some grub before you head off to do your shift, or whatever it is you do on a Dreadnought class ship. Did I mention that? Yeah, that this is a Dreadnought class vessel? Well, now you know. Now we're entering the med bay. So, got a little intern desk or something. What would it be called? I don't know. You guys tell me down in the comments. And in this room here, we got the medical beds and all the fancy smanchy science stuff. And on the other side here, we have the actual important bit, the actual med bay. Alright. Heading off to the right side of the ship, the right end hallway. Through this door here, we have the brig. Got a little security office right here, who have their own vending machine. You guys seeing the pattern? And then we actually got the cells themselves. Now, two of these cells are a 2x2 block grid, but the middle one here is a 2x3. Kind of had a weird math situation when trying to plan out these rooms, and it wound up making this middle room here bigger than the other two. So if you're a criminal, you better hope you get the big room if it's not already taken. Oh yeah, one bed each. Alright, and now we're coming up to the bridge deck. You return right here. You see we have two other stairways that lead out into these airlocks, so convenient ways to enter throughout the ship, and even for pirates. And for the first time since the first Hammerhead, a captain's quarters. This is the second captain's quarters I have ever built on my ships, if you can believe it. And I've built well over 20 ships. I think I built like 24, 25 total. I built a lot of ships. Okay. So, captain's quarters has a nice little bed / living area. Our graphic table in the center of it all. And on the other side here, we also have the bathroom. So, yeah, pretty nice. But of course, we're now about to see the best part of this whole ship. The bridge. Alright. So coming up those long steps and in through this doorway here, we now enter the bridge. This continuously improves with every iteration of the ship, and as many people have pointed out, has a very Star Destroyer feel. Not intentional, but that's how it is. And here's the main pilot seat. Now you see plenty of view. Plenty of ways to get shot at too. Although I have other ships that are waiting here to shoot at the pilots with. So let's take this to a spin. For a spin. There we go. Alright. She is big, she is mean, and way faster than a dreadnought should be. I think in this world I'll have a speed mod on. Oh, by the way, fully atmospheric capable, thanks to these modded engines. Alright, 250 is what we're capping out at. Snapping power is deadly powerful. So, okay, side thrust is pretty balanced. Downward thrust is even slower. Up thrust, however, I know is pretty powerful. I mean, it can carry itself in atmosphere, so yeah. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, Hammerhead V4. So, I'd like to thank you guys for watching and glad to be back doing YouTube and hoping to do it properly this time. And I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya!